Climbers come in all shapes and sizes, but hand size is rarely talked about. Does it affect finger strength, injury risk, or overall performance? Surely there must be an optimal hand size, right? Over the last 7 months, I've been investigating whether hand size actually affects our climbing performance, and the results were really surprising, far more than I could have possibly have imagined. To unlock the truth, I spoke to some of the best climbers in the world and the GB Team Olympic physio.
And that's almost like an invisible super strength that you wouldn't know was there unless you scanned, which we can do.
But first, let's see what happens when we take this question to the boulders. Here we have Megan, who has quite small hands, and we've got Jeff with pretty big hands. They both climb around the same grade, albeit a slightly different style. And we've got 4 boulders behind us, 2 which are suited to someone with a larger hand, and then 2 suited for people with smaller hands. So we are going to see if hand size hinders or helps you on the next 4 boulders.
I think it will take me a few goes to get through this sequence, and then when I finally get to the last move, I'll bottle the last move.
Okay.
I can see the future. Ooh.
Come on. Easy. Come on. Yes. Yes. Come on, mate. Yes. Oh, let's go.
Oh. Yay!
See, you didn't bottle the last move.
Did my boulder.
Nice. Let's see your hand size difference quickly. It's outrageous.
My thumb is still thinner than your pinky finger.
Yeah. Oh my God. Come on. Oh. Yes. Nice. Come on. Come on.
Oh.
That is evil.
Obviously, these boulders we set are specifically designed to suit people with either big hands or small hands. But I wanted to see what some of the strongest climbers in the world thought and if their hand size has ever caused them any issues.
Well, Alex Megos is such a strong climber.
Who do you think is the strongest climber? Like, just physically?
Alex Megos, some of the Japanese climbers.
Alex, I was half expecting you to be on the toilet.
Well, maybe I am on the outdoor toilet.
Maybe you are.
Do you even have a school degree?
No, I just have like GCSEs, which is just like, I think you do them when you're 17. That's it. Did you go to uni?
No.
You didn't, nah. It's overrated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much 2 fruitcakes talking about science and I've absolutely got no clue about science.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Have you found that there are any like routes or problems that you feel you'll never do just because of your hand size?
Yes, I would say nowadays there's more and more routes, especially in areas like Margalev, that I'll just never do because I can't fit my fingers in the pockets. I think for crims it's not as important, but for pockets it makes a huge difference because either it's like a jug or it's, you know, an unholdable hold. So that makes, I think, a big difference. I think that's why we also saw so many like younger climbers and kids perform super well in Margalev. A, because usually the whole place is littered with holes, and B, because for them every 2-finger pocket is a jug.
Come on. Come on. Oh. That just looks impossibly hard for you. It's like, it's gone up like at least a full grade just for the match.
Yeah, I think if I had superstar strength and I could mono crimp it, then I'd be able to match. But yeah, that's not happening.
I think you have to have pretty superstar strength to do that. Yeah. This video, as you all know, is about genetics and hand size and how that affects our climbing. And while we can't change any of that, we can train to get stronger fingers. And my favorite way to train my fingers is by doing pickups. The stone hanger is probably the most unique pickup block in the world, and not just because it's beautiful, but also because it has a 20mm granite edge. And the granite edge, when you use it, because it's a rough, it toughens up your skin so you can have longer sessions, train for longer, and become stronger. Well, my skin from using this for over a year now has definitely got tougher. Nature Climbing also make other incredible products like holds, which you might have seen on the channel before, fingerboards. They have this color in natural real oak, and they also have this in dark oak, same with the granite edge, or you can get sandstone if you prefer. And they're a beautiful, wonderful group of people based in Denmark, and it's a company that make products from climbers for climbers. So if you'd like to support me, the channel, and get some stronger fingers and some stronger skin, use my code JOSH for 20% off everything in their store. They're a fantastic company, and honestly, I can't rave about these stone hangers enough. They are brilliant. Look how they're small, you can bring them on holiday, perfect for warming up at the crag, perfect for training at home. They're genuinely awesome. Later on, we will be sitting down with GB Team Olympic Physio to find out what's actually going on in the hand and the fingers and how our genetics affect finger strength. But first, let's see what the general public think. What do you think is better for climbing? Having big hands or small hands? I'll go with you.
Small hands to get in the tight holds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think big hands because of grip strength, probably.
Why do you think big hands give you more grip?
Because I have bigger hands and
And you, yeah,
and
you're strong
I
grip.
do all right.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I'd say bigger hands, just because a lot of the slopers and things like that, the more surface area you've got over them.
Get more friction.
Yeah, that's the better way.
Love
really.
your t-shirt. Coffee and jiu-jitsu, by the way.
Cheers, thank you.
Very nice. I will not mess with you today. I'll remember that. Sorry to interrupt. We're making a documentary for the BBC and we want to hear people's opinions.
My theory is the bigger the hands, the stronger they are.
Okay.
So I'd say bigger hands, yeah.
Do I have to pretend like I don't know him?
No.
Okay.
This is my roommate, James.
Hi.
What's better for climbing, big hands or small hands?
Depends what style. I think for crimping, small hands.
Yeah.
Probably pocket small hands.
Probably.
Slopers, big hands.
Okay. Why?
Friction. Well, I think to be fair, I feel like for crimping, short fingers. But then I think for slopers, big mitts.
Big mitts. Okay.
So
right.
There we go.
Cool. That's that then. Anything else you want to say?
I think it depends what holds they are. Because I reckon for crimps it's probably easier to have small hands. Because I like crimps.
You've got small hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's my answer.
I would say they can be suited to different types of climbing. I think that would be my answer. For crimpier stuff, I'd probably say smaller hands, right? But then for big ones, you want big hands. I don't know. That's my unexpert answer.
It's time to get some answers and find out what's actually going on in our hands. So I am on my way to speak to a professional. Okay, so we're meeting Paul Huffy, we call him, because no one can pronounce his last name. Probably the best physio in the country, maybe the world, the GB Physio, GB Olympics, and he's the one who's going to provide all the answers for us of which hand size is best. There he is, the legend himself.
All right, good to see you.
All right, Paul.
Ready for some geeking?
I'm ready for some geeking.
I guess the question you're asking, I should probably start with either answering or addressing the question that you're trying to answer, or talk about maybe what finger strength is, So there's a million different ways you could talk about finger strength. For me, it's 3 components. So it's the ability of muscles to generate force and transmit that force efficiently through tendons that don't stretch. So stiff tendons that are effectively efficient energy storage units. That stores that energy and transmits it to the joints, and you want stable joints that allow the force to effectively be put through the fingers onto the rock. But it makes sense to start the conversation with what happens right at the tip of the finger. So bone length, tendon attachment length, connective tissue stretchiness. These are all factors that you don't see talked about much in social media, for instance, until now. Then we can get into the hand itself and the mechanics below the hand, because they have just as much bearing on how that hand works, and they're definitely linked to things like injury as well.
Boulder number 2 is this black thing behind us with 1 mint hold. What are your thoughts on this one, Jeff?
Yeah, looks good. I mean, the pinch is definitely suited to my hand size.
What's your preferred style? Are you a thuggy climber or a delicate climber?
I'm trying to be more delicate. That's where I'm working towards. But yeah, the more powerful boulders tend to suit me better.
Yes. Nice. Are you a pinch fan?
I do like pinches when I can get my fingers around them, which is rare. This is exactly the kind of boulder that I would see in the gym and not try.
Okay.
So
we're forcing you to.
Super excited. If I commit once, I'll only have to do it once. Okay.
Yes. Nice. Come on. Yes.
No way. Okay. The
Your hand is like.
Yeah, I can't.
Your hand's like this.
It's big.
Do you feel like you can get purchase on the mint hold?
I can move to it statically and hold it. Like I could bump my foot up, but I can't really pull on it, and it feels like at any second it might.
Do you find in comps when it gets like big pinches that, I mean, I guess if you've got bigger hands, then maybe they suit you better than some of the other competitors who have smaller hands?
For me, I think pinches for me are perfect. Or like, of course, depending on the size of the pinch, some are way too big, but like the usual pinches that you find in comps, my hands are quite good for them. I mean, also if you have like finger flexibility with the thumb, you can also like make this part bigger, longer.
Yeah.
Which is also good.
Mine only goes that far. Oh wow, yeah, your thumb's
Whoa,
that's
okay,
insane. Yeah. Damn.
And then for pinches, if you can get your thumb quite low, then it's perfect.
That's crazy. Your thumb is like here.
Yeah.
That's wild. I've never seen that before.
Nice.
Yeah. Dan, no wonder you're so good at pinches. That's crazy. Wow. So yeah, pinch. You're probably hands are wider than mine on pinches, maybe. With that thumb.
Maybe. Yeah. Thanks to the thumb flexibility.
And have you ever felt that your hand size has been like an advantage or a disadvantage on certain types of climbs? So obviously you said pinches, but any disadvantages?
Honestly, no. Besides, like I said, anything like really big. I'd say my height is more of a disadvantage than like my finger or hand size. But I've rarely, like outdoors or even comps, rarely had an issue with like, oh, but I can't pinch this hold. But sometimes in training, I purposely do take bigger pinches, and then there, of course, is like, okay, well, I can't hold this.
Does any words of encouragement help?
For running
just
at
in
the
general,
wall?
yeah.
Not really. I need to like surprise my body. Like, ooh,
you're here.
Before my brain is like, what are we doing? See, wasn't surprised that time.
Nice. Yes. Come on.
That's like, no way.
Paul, you know what the video is about. It's about, does hand size make a difference?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it actually does make a difference in climbers?
So that's a really good question, and there's always going to be outliers to that answer. But as a rule of thumb, and there's less evidence for this, hand size that are a bit bigger, that have got better surface contact, particularly if they're strong in the hand and the wrist and the forearm, do pretty well on slopers, because they can put that power down and hold static positions and make the most of surface area contact. With smaller holds, there is more research on that from Goodman Grohaug. He basically showed that the shorter levers, so a smaller end of the finger, is pretty favourable on a 10mm edge compared to a longer lever. So in general, the average man will put about 25% more force through the fingertips to get the same sort of leverage out of a 10mm edge compared to an average woman. And that's 25% links really well with men having more finger injuries indoors than women.
Now, that sounds like Paul has just given us the answer, right? But when I spoke to him more, he revealed things aren't quite that simple. Boulder number 3 is this beautiful purple boulder. We went for slots, so this is going to be a struggle for Jeff. You have to do it, okay? No pressure, but you've got to flash it, otherwise
Otherwise,
small hands, yeah, are worse. You're doing it for the small hand community.
Okay.
Just think of all the small-handed climbers. They're all relying on you.
I'm the leader.
You're their
The
leader,
small-
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
If you called small hands, we'd hear the pitter-patter of tiny little feet running down the driveway. Cancelled. Yeah, cancelled, okay.
Okay.
Go on, Megan. That was easy. Do you think that was easier than the mint one?
Yeah.
Would that be your ideal boulder?
No.
Oh, okay. We worked really hard on that.
I really enjoyed it. I kind of wanted it to be a bit harder.
Yeah, too easy.
But it was really fun.
If I can get my fingers in, then yeah, it seems okay. The second one is probably, yeah, it looks trickier. I've already eyed up the fat bit that I might be able to shove my digits in.
Maybe this is a hot take, but
hot takes.
it's something that has come to me a lot, and it's just comparing the hand to the foot, which obviously work differently. But I always imagine what a running coach would say if we said, get that runner to stand on an edge and do a heel raise, and then predict what their 5K race time is going to be. Yeah. That would never work. They'd laugh at that, because the foot's attached to a body that propels you forwards. I think in climbing sometimes we're a little bit too drunk or put too much stock on static finger strength. We don't think about the fact that it's our body that moves us between holds, not our fingers. And there's two things to that. One, you need to have the body control to land a hold properly, and then the coordination to use that static finger strength in real time, which is really complicated. The second thing is, if your body moves well, then the force through the fingers is going to reduce. Newton's second law, like force equals mass times acceleration. The force you want to be as low as possible. If you're accelerating the wrong way because you're not moving properly, that force is going to be way greater. So someone who moves well is going to use less force when they get there, and the finger strength issue is going to be negated. So static finger strength is important, but it's such a small part of the story. I think climbers have kind of lost sight of that a little bit when you think about it in that bigger context. It just brings us all back to the fact that climbing is so movement-based, is very artistic, and sometimes it can't be summed up with a binary number, But I asked Hamish about his fingers, and he was saying, I don't think finger strength is the reason I climb well. And I think he's an interesting one because he's tall and strong, but his timing's perfect. So he lands exactly the right time. His recent first ascent out of E17, his timing's amazing, and so his fingers don't need to be as strong when he gets there because his acceleration is almost nil when he hits that spot, and that's a really good example of that.
Not that it's competition, but if you get this, then Megan has to climb the last boulder to win for the small hands.
That chance of that.
Doing this for my fat-handed brethren.
Come on. Yes. You must have seen a lot of different hands then.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different hands and a lot of different patterns. Some patterns that make sense that you can kind of see as a rule, and others where you've just got outliers and people who just drive the machine differently and develop strength regardless of finger length issues or connective tissue issues. So there's always people who can overcome their genetics, just by training hard. I mean, there are some things that carry over. So, genetically, if your parents are hypermobile, you've got a higher chance of having connective tissue that is stretchier. And then there are genetic factors, or not genetic factors, congenital factors, like the point at which tendons join to bone. And talking about leverage, if you've got soft tissue that connects higher up to the distal phalanx, you're going to have a better leverage there in your soft tissue. And that's almost like an invisible super strength that you wouldn't know was there unless you scanned, which we can do. But I have seen a higher incidence of people with the longer tendon attachment in the higher grades. So it's almost like they've been selected out without even knowing it. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you've seen like pro climbers, because you've worked with a lot of pro climbers, do you find most pro climbers have that invisible superpower?
Yeah, the climbers who credit finger strength being their main thing, without even realizing it, tend to have, on average, proportionally longer connective tissues at the end of the finger. And this is research, actually, Tyler Nelson's put something out on this as well, so it's quite nice that we're seeing this sort of pattern. But, you know, the practice is way ahead of the research, so we're not going to see this in a paper yet, but certainly that's what I see as well in practice. Here's your tendon, your FDP attachment, and here's the length of the phalanx in totality. So we can actually see quite quickly where this tendon attaches to. And what we do is we just get the length of this. So we go from here, which is the start of the bone, to there, the end of the bone. That's the bone length. And then we're gonna just go from here. I like to start just in line with this marker. And then what we can see here is the tendon attachment arcing over here to attach to that point there.
Okay.
There. So I'd put that there. I'd take this one, I'd just put it parallel with this line, maybe a little bit further back. And if you look on the right-hand side, left-hand side of the screen, you've got distance of the bone and the end point of the FDP attaching there. And you'd calculate that as a percentage. And basically, I see people with tendons attaching as high as 75% along the bone there, which obviously would give a massive mechanical advantage.
So how's mine?
Actually, it's average.
Oh.
Yeah, but we can compare that to the other
Sorry,
side.
my life. So basically, hand size isn't as important as where the tendons attach. Like, you could have really big hands, but if they attach high, then that you could have stronger fingers than someone with short fingers.
Exactly, that's like a silent equalizer you wouldn't know about. But as a rule of thumb, if you look purely on the length of the bone and the size of the hold, leverage is not with a bigger hand. But like I say, there are soft tissue adaptations, superpowers you might not know are there, that are basically countering that by providing a better mechanical advantage against the length of the finger.
Does that have an impact on injury? Or would you be less injured if you had that?
Yeah, so there'd be less stress on the joints themselves if your tendon attached a little further up. You'd be able to actually apply more force at the end of the finger, particularly in more of an open-handed position. When it comes to holds that you're going into higher angle positions, a lot of this depends essentially on the third point, on my point of what finger strength is, the connective tissue in the hand. And if you've got stretchy connective tissue at the end of the finger on an edge size that you're going into a high angle, for every 10 degrees you lose this position, so as you go into extension, you're going to have to be 10 degrees more active here or here, which is going to lead to a lot more stress going through the pulleys, particularly the A2 and the A1. So that's something you have to train up to build tolerance to. And you can really, adapt and overcome that, but it takes a bit of work and awareness to know it's there.
Now time for the final boulder, the pièce de résistance.
What did you say about cracks?
I said it wasn't real climbing, but it's time to find out if that's true, because we have the definition of a crack. Oh yes, a flash.
Win for the fat hands.
This is bullshit.
Why?
I don't feel confident about this one.
Oh, it's horrible. People like this?
Come on. So to stay honest, in the video we did get Jeff to come here and we measured his hands exactly to the size of the crack, and we were like, okay, that's perfect, we'll have that one. Come on. Yes. Come on. Hand jam. You okay?
It was all going well until I tried to jam.
Would this be something you'd choose or not choose in the gym? You'd be
I would
like,
never, ever try this. Ever.
I'm so ungrateful. We made this just for you.
No, you didn't. You made it for Jeff.
So, yeah, let's say you've got two people. One's a tall person with big hands and one's a small person with small hands. And they're trying exactly the same boulder in the same place. Who is more likely to get injured?
So the answer to that would be the one who has the least amount of force through the fingers when they get there. And if you've got a small hand and you're hitting a small crimp and your body is moving in the right way, there's going to be less force going through those levers and your hands aren't going to have to generate as much contraction when you get there. So the best climber with the smaller fingers moving to a crimp is going to do better than a poorer climber with bigger hands not moving so well.
What happens if they move the same?
If they move the same, it's all about what happens at that point of contact. And that's where levers become much more relevant, providing their body movement's exactly the same. It'll be the person with the smaller fingers who has mechanically an advantage in that position, all things being equal, other than the size.
So there we have it, the answer. It is better to have small hands for climbing than it is big hands. But the things we can't see are even more important than the size of our hands, like the tendon insertion points that Paul taught us about. But overall, I think the beautiful thing about climbing is that it is an art form, and the way we move on the wall will always outweigh any disadvantages that we might have.